Welcome back to BaldHeaded Metal, guys. Welcome back to another reaction. For anybody who is familiar with this channel, you'll remember that I'm a huge fan of thrash metal. It's my favorite genre of heavy metal. So today I'm actually pretty excited because it's an old school thrash metal band that's coming back with a new album, Vio-Lence, with their song Let the World Burn. I know they've released a couple of singles before this, which I haven't heard any of them. I just discovered that they have new songs. It's not my favorite thrash metal band I've ever heard, but the record that I heard, especially with the Jaws, the red album with the Jaws, I forgot the name of that particular album, it was really good for its time. I remember not being a fan of the vocals, but liking the music a lot. Let's get into this particular reaction here and let's see what they're all about, because it can be very 50-50 with a new thrash metal record, whether it be a band that hasn't produced anything for a long time, coming back and a lot of times struggling, or even something like a new band coming out. So I'm just going to be hopeful that I like it because it is a band I enjoy, but at the same time, I'm going to be watching out for those things to really, what are you bringing new to the table? Let's start with that and see what we got. Please be good. Please be good. Okay, solid beginning. I'm going to hold out hope for this one, to be honest. The music video is horrendous because you could see when they're doing green screen, you can actually see it wasn't done very well because you can see the green around their hair, and I spotted it like that. Okay, the music video is not good. But let's really hope there's some interesting riffs here, because right now there's like a wave of like, oh no, but perhaps I'm wrong. Yeah, unfortunately, it sounds like it's the case of the latter, where this is just, unfortunately, a band that had a couple good albums in the 80s, comes back to try to do it again. And it's hard. There's been success stories, like Annihilated, I believe they're from UK. They had 2 or 3 albums which were very highly regarded in the thrash community. And then they came back in like 2000 with a couple of records back to back that were just 3 albums in a row that were really, really good. So it can happen. In this particular thing, I got new headphones, if you guys noticed. I'm literally questioning if it's my headphones or the production is really bad, which I'm going to turn the headphones off and listen to it right after this to see if it's any better. Because if this is what it's like, the production is not very good. It doesn't look like his voice improved much, unfortunately. I mean, I don't mean to pick on this band, but it doesn't sound like the voice has really improved. And you know, there's some interesting riffs, but they're not catching you. There's no hook to them. Yeah, I don't. It might be the case of a very forgettable album, and I'll just keep listening to the ones that I like.
You've never been welcome. Sluts for lust. Virus.
It doesn't look like it's the same vocalist either.
Saviors, unrecognized, then crucified. Now the tidal wave of flames, the wind, the blood, the weak in their cries. It's never pretty, it's beautiful desperation, it's romance. This is your future, it's your loved ones, everything you worship, every person you hate. As the curtain closes, the novel concludes.
Yeah, the second part is not bad. It has a kind of, more of an intense riff. But even then, it's still weaker. There's other bands I can tell you that are less known and people don't know about them, and they just kind of stayed active throughout the years, and they're so small. A lot of people like Hyrax, phenomenal thrash metal records. They've the past couple albums they produced have been kick-ass. Nobody's speaking about them, or Coroner actually, who Vio-Lence who's going to be touring with. Coroner is fantastic band. Kind of progressive thrash metal. It looks like they're producing new material as well. I think it's just hard. I'm not even going to fault the band Vio-Lence. I understand they still have the fire and the want to create music. I can, sympathize from that perspective. But, I'm not going to lie to myself. I'm not going to try to convince myself that I like it. I'm done with those times. I remember doing that for Metallica, for Megadeth, and other bands that I was like, even Iced Earth, Framing Armageddon. I tried so hard to like that album. I just don't like it. And it's the case with this one as well. Unfortunately, that's how it is sometimes. Sometimes I can't even logically tell you that there's something good in this particular song. I feel so bad actually saying it, but it's like it just feels antiquated. They're playing 80s thrash with new production, and it just doesn't sound good because they weren't the most technical band of their time either. They just had like a fun record for their time, like a Diamond in the Rough kind of thing. But I would still pick like Metallica over them any day of the week. Yeah, I think it is the same vocalist. I've recognized his voice now. He sounded a little bit whiny back in the 80s, where now obviously he's an adult and he has a kind of this roughness to his voice. It's just I felt it back then, and I felt it now, that the vocalist always feels like he's offbeat to the music. And the music here, again, I'm going to listen to it without the headphones because this wasn't good to me. I'm still going to be hopeful for other singles. Perhaps it's not going to be the best thrash metal record I've ever heard, but perhaps there's going to be a couple songs for me to kind of resonate with. Unfortunately, it's happened with thrash metal where innovation is the biggest problem. And the only bands that have kind of stuck out in the modern era is the ones that innovate in some shape or form, like Havoc, Warbringer, Evil, that take what thrash we love about it, what we know about it that we love, take that element, but put something new to it, combine it with something else, or just give it a new sound or something, just some kind of new coding. But when you literally want to take what they've done in the 80s and plaster it now, a lot of these are like Venom would never work now. I don't think they would be popular now. They're very much a product of their time, and there's a nostalgia to us loving Venom. And I think there's a case to be set up at the same time. Vio-Lence. There's a nostalgia for me to like in their first two albums, Oppressing the Masses, and I forgot the name of the other one, Nightmare something, Nightmare Logic, or I forgot the name of the album. But it's just not the same. I want to hear from you guys. Perhaps maybe I'm not hearing something. Perhaps you like it yourselves. Let's have a discussion about it. And make sure you enjoy the rest of your day. Stay safe out there and keep it metal.